After a long day, I got home close to 11 p.m. To my surprise, my adoptive parents, John and Linda, who should have been asleep, were sitting and waiting for me. Exhausted, I greeted them. Dad, Mom, why are you still up so late? I'm really tired, can't we talk tomorrow? Seeing me like this, John cleared his throat, clearly displeased that I can never find you when I need to. I had to stay up waiting for you, he grumbled. Linda was more gentle. She rolled her eyes at John, got up, and took my hand. Look, she said, your dad and I have been worried seeing you work so hard every day. We think it's time for you to take a break. I raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? John frowned and tossed an agreement on the coffee table. Sign this agreement, and you won't have anything to do with Carrie anymore. If you sign it, your mom and I will give you $1 billion. $1 billion? Really generous. But I found it so ironic. I joined Carrie when I was 20. In 5 years, I turned a nearly bankrupt company into the city's industry leader. The company's worth went from $1 billion to tens of billions. After all that hard work, is it only worth $1 billion? Seeing my disdain, John pulled out another agreement. This isn't a negotiation, he stated. Carrie's owner is still your mom and me. Either you agree, or you'll sign this dissolution agreement, pack your things and leave Carrie. Linda gave me a nervous smile. Carrie, you should sign the first agreement. That way we still stay as a family. Consider the $1 billion your private savings. We'll still take care of you. John nodded in agreement. Who wouldn't be happy with such a good deal? I didn't refuse. Instead, I asked, then who will be the president of Carrie? Wendy, the real Chin family daughter who recently returned and had been silent all along, chimed in. This should be obvious, right? Carrie belongs to the Chin family, meaning it's mine, Wendy's. When I was lost, Mom and Dad had no choice but to adopt you. Over the years they're taught you well, perhaps giving you the false impression that you're part of the family. But after returning these past months, you've ignored me and looked down on me despite me being the true daughter. If it weren't for our parents' kindness, you would have been kicked out the first day I was back. Linda dabs her eyes, seemingly touched. John, your daughter really takes after you, she remarked. John couldn't help but agree. Yes, it's true. Our own child is different. Carrie is great, but she's cold and distant, always focused on the company and work. I chuckled to myself. Yes, I'm the fake one, adopted after they lost Wendy. But for these 20+ years, John and Linda raised me as their own. I thought this could go on, but Wendy's return quickly left me with no place in the family. My silence seemed to boost Wendy's arrogance. So sister, becoming president is set in stone. I suggest you sign the first agreement. Otherwise, being kicked out with nothing will be your regret. I nodded without hesitation, grabbing the pen and signing. I'm a businessperson after all, and I won't let anger ruin my interests. Wendy, a bit disappointed, muttered. I thought you'd have the guts to walk away. Turns out you're just a money grubber. Seeing me sign, John unusually glared at Wendy. Carrie's still your sister, he said. Wendy begrudgingly mumbled an apology. I glanced at the $1 billion that had just hit my account and chuckled. No worries, sis. May Carrie thrive in your hands and expand globally. Linda nodded approvingly. Wendy, though you've been in the company for half a year, it was all basic work. If you don't understand something, ask Carrie, she suggested. She then looked at me. Carrie, we wanted you to step down not due to this air issue, but because you worked too hard. Once you're free, help out at the company since we're family. John nodded too but frowned at my frequent presence. Helping's fine, but remember your status. Don't challenge Wendy's decisions. Otherwise, how will she lead as president? Wendy sneered. Don't worry, Mom and Dad. If Carrie with bad genes can do well, imagine how I'll excel as your real kid. Although I know my sister's keen to help, it's best she stays away. Otherwise, people might think there's some power struggle happening. I nodded. You're right, sis. I won't be around. Since I've signed, I won't delay your rest. After all, tomorrow's your first day on the job. With that, I went upstairs, leaving the Chin family beneath me, smiling like they'd won a victory. I couldn't help but think, laugh all you want, there'll be tears later. The next day, I slept until the afternoon. It wasn't that I woke up naturally though. Wendy knocked on my door to wake me. Dressed sharply in professional attire, she looked me up and down. Last night, seeing how quickly my sister signed, I thought you'd handled it better. Didn't expect you'd be too upset to get out of bed. I was a bit confused, wondering if you're off work or just heading in. Wendy's face changed. Off work. Do you really think I have to work overtime to show my skills? Let me tell you, only people as incompetent as you need extra hours. I thought being the boss would be exhausting. Turns out it's chill as hell. I showed up, listened to a few reports, signed some stuff, and then I was out of there. Came straight home. She rolled her eyes at me. Dad, I wanted to be a CEO when I got home. But you kept acting all busy, making it seem tougher than it was. Now I see it was all your scheme, right? I sighed. All right, you win, princess. Can I head to bed now? Seeing my indifferent attitude, Wendy nearly blew a gasket. She might have thought I was hiding my feelings. Laughing, she said, playing it cool, huh? You must be hurting inside. I shook my head. Nah, seeing you acting like a big shot just cracks me up. It's just the first day, Wendy. Talk to me after you've actually worked for a bit. That got her riled up. You're messing with me on purpose. Have you forgotten who you are? Time to teach you a lesson. She looked like she was about to slap me. I went to block her, but instead, she smacked her own face. I was stunned. Why'd you hit yourself? Wendy held her cheek. It's called playing the victim. She glared, then yelled and cried, sis, I just came to update you on work. How could you hit me? Hearing this, John and Linda rushed upstairs like a whirlwind. Seeing Wendy, Linda was furious. Carrie, what happened? That's your sister. How could you hit her? Wendy cried even more. What can I do for you to accept me? I swear I'm here to join the family, not tear it apart. I know you don't like me, saying I should have stayed gone. And now that you know I graduated from a big-name school, while you didn't even finish college, you're even more bitter. But sis, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't bother explaining, just frowned at John. He saw it as arrogance. Wendy, don't be silly. You're our real daughter. It's our duty to make it up to you for the years you were away. Wendy nodded, crying. I'm not here to gloat. Just wanted to report work. Mom and Dad said I should learn from you. Is it because I finished in half a day what takes you 14 hours? That you're so mad? John snorted. Don't bother learning from her. Or reporting anything. But Wendy kept crying, almost ready to faint from the tears. Linda, obviously upset, glared at me. Why treat her this way? You owe her an apology. John agreed. Not just for this, but for everything else you've done these past 6 months. Wendy gave a subtle smile. I sighed. What if I don't apologize? Linda paused. Well, if you don't apologize, you can't stay here. Wasting no time. I pulled out my phone from my pajama pocket. Hit play. Wendy's face fell. She tried to grab my phone, but at 5 feet 3 inches, she couldn't reach it. After the recording finished, I sighed. Sorry, sis. You've been putting words in my mouth. I thought I had amnesia, so I started recording everything. Wendy went speechless, embarrassed. John and Linda's expressions were priceless. Probably more mad at Wendy for screwing up. I faked 2 sobs. Maybe I should leave. Dad gave me $1 billion after all. The Chin family was delighted, ready to thrust a formal separation document at me. But I didn't give them the chance. I continued sniffing, but leaving. Who knows what I might say, or what company I'd join. John and Linda exchanged glances, put on fake smiles. Oh hush, you're our daughter. You belong here. Wendy, confused but wanting to argue, was shut down by Linda. Roughly, she was pulled away, while John gently closed my door. Carrie, you rest up. Standing behind the door, I soon heard Wendy. Dad. She offered to leave. Why stop her? I thought you said I was your real daughter. Your favorite. Linda shushed her. Spoke quietly. You're our real child. She's just adopted. Could never replace you. Wendy felt better but still puzzled. Then why? John stopped in his tracks. Size. You just said Carrie didn't graduate from college. Actually, you're wrong. She's a genius. She graduated college at 15 and got her PhD. By 20. When she was 20, the family business hit rock bottom, almost went bankrupt. Your mom and I were worried sick, and we both ended up in the hospital. I never let her handle the company stuff, waiting for you to take over. But it was beyond saving at that point, so we let her step in. Her skills were incredible. The company that was on the brink of bankruptcy started slowly reviving in her hands. And in less than a year, it was turning a profit. Over the next few years, profits began rising steadily. Without her, there wouldn't even be a sunrise. Wendy paused but quickly spoke up, "Mom, Dad, that was just pure luck. Don't worry. I'll be 100 times better than her." John and Linda were naturally relieved, showering her with praises. Wendy, the more they praised her, the quieter she got, probably because she started walking away. And soon I couldn't hear anything. If it was 6 months ago, it might have felt awful, but after everything that's happened in the last 6 months, I've come to terms with the fact that John and Linda don't love me. Wendy really wants to prove herself, just like I did before. So much so she works late hours too. There were several times she didn't come home until 3 a.m. and was out the door by 8 in the morning. With such a schedule, Wendy's looking rough. At breakfast, Linda saw Wendy almost asleep at the table and felt terrible for her. Taking her frustration out on me, "Carrie, are you doing this on purpose?" I was taken aback. "What did I do now? I haven't done anything this month." Linda pointed at Wendy. "You signed off so easily the other day. Turns out you left Wendy with a mess. Look at how hard she works every day while you're home, healthy and well-fed. Don't you feel a bit guilty?" I couldn't help but laugh. "Mom, I've lived like this for 5 years. Did you ever feel for me? Or say 5 years ago when I joined the company in chaos, did you and Dad feel guilty for leaving me a mess to clean up?" John slammed the table. "Enough. Is this how a daughter should behave? Did you forget? Without your mom and me, what kind of life do you think you would have lived? You're just an orphan. We gave you a good life. You owe us this." I stayed calm. I had been waiting for this. I went upstairs to pack my bags. If they hate seeing me so much, I'll just leave. John and Linda's faces changed but didn't stop me. Maybe they thought since Wendy had a grip on the company, there's nothing to worry about. Wendy was delighted. "Sis, think twice before leaving. You won't be able to come back." I ignored them, grabbed a small bag and left. Looking at Wendy's gloating face felt ridiculous. Soon enough, she would know who should be regretting things. This past month, Wendy's been trying hard to prove herself and eliminate my influence in the company. She started a series of reforms. But honestly, she's not skilled, lacks real-world experience, so she focused on attendance first. She wanted regular employees to clock in 20 minutes early, management by 30 minutes. This decision left folks grumbling. But that wasn't enough for Wendy. She noticed that, especially in the tech department, overtime pay each month nearly matched a regular salary. She thought it was exploiting the company. Her next step was a no overtime policy. But the workload remained the same. Wendy said in a meeting, "Work is scheduled for 8 hours. If you can't get it done and aim for extra overtime pay, it's disgusting. From today, no overtime is allowed. Finish your work on time. Or if you stay late, you owe for the extra utilities used." This new rule didn't sit well, and key staff planned their resignations. I knew they were leaving, and realized the company couldn't sustain itself without them, heading for collapse. This was why I moved out. A week after I left, the company fell apart. Several projects faced huge penalties, bringing the company back to the brink of bankruptcy like 5 years ago. Early one morning, while I was still asleep, John, Linda, and Wendy showed up at my villa. Wendy's cries could have reached the sky. "Sis, open up. Sis, help." Without my say, the maid wasn't opening the door. I just wore earplugs and didn't unlock the door until lunch. When finally let in, the three of them looked horrible, their hair stuck to their sweaty faces. John gulped down a big glass of water, nearly died waiting. "Do you know how hot it is out there?" Linda, stressed and frazzled, "Carrie, are you doing this on purpose? Not answering calls or texts, ignoring us at the door. Do you want your father and me dead or what?" Wendy looked the worst. Yelling for help outside not only embarrassed her, but left her with a sore throat. Yet she still mocked. "Did you do this on purpose, making everyone quit? Wanting the company in trouble just to mess with me? You think since you built it, you own it, and can run it down just to keep it from me? Isn't that too much?" John, with an icy face, said, "Get back and fix this mess right now, or I'll throw you out of the family." Despite everything they said, I stayed silent. Wendy was furious. "Say something." Feeling too guilty to talk, my best friend Cindy finally couldn't hold back. She walked out of the room. "Enough. Can't you see Carrie's not feeling well?" When she said that, Everyone finally noticed. I wasn't just being quiet today. I looked pale and was too weak to speak. John and Linda looked a bit taken aback. But Wendy didn't buy it. Humph. How is that possible? You're always so healthy. How could you suddenly be sick? Are you just trying to make mom and dad feel guilty? If you're sick, then what is it? Where's the medical record? Where are the test results? I coughed violently a few times, then weakly replied, Sis, if I'm pretending, what's the point? I left home a few days ago, and none of you contacted me. How on earth could I predict you all would come looking for me? Wendy didn't know how to respond, so she blurted out, Then why didn't you open the door when I knocked? Cindy laughed a little. Why would she? You kicked Carrie out of the house and made her sick. She finally got some rest. Of course, I wouldn't let you in. John wanted to say something, but Cindy shot him a look. What do you want? Say what you came to say, or please leave and stop bothering Carrie. Their expressions changed a few times, as if they finally remembered why they came. John faked a concerned greeting, and then said, What happened last time was Wendy's fault. The business matters were handled too carelessly. You need to come back to the company. We need you. Linda nodded in agreement. Yeah, Wendy lacks experience. She can't manage the company at all. You're the best fit for it. Pack your things and come home with us. Don't worry this time. We won't take back the company. Whoever is best for it should be in charge. Seeing I wasn't swayed, John pulled Wendy up and forced her to kneel again. Look at what you've done. Apologize to your sister. Wendy knelt, but her eyes were full of resentment. Dad, I've made it clear. The company's issues aren't my fault. It was all Carrie's partnerships. You have to believe me. It's all her fault. I shook my head. I've never been in contact with any employees. I didn't know about the company's problems. So how can this be my fault? Wendy got up, pointing at me. Stop pretending. When I took over the company, I asked you for advice a few times, trusting you because I thought you were my sister and wouldn't harm me. So I didn't think much and followed your advice. But then those idiots resigned. So you have to come back to the company and fix your mistakes. I didn't say anything, but weakly pointed at the TV. Cindy understood and turned it on. It showed footage of my conversation with Wendy. Wendy looked sincere, sister. I lack experience. Can you tell me how to manage the company properly? After thinking briefly, I replied, The most important parts of a company are its tech and business departments. You must be lenient with core staff, like with attendance and benefits, taking care of these areas properly. That's what I've always done. Just keep doing it. Don't blindly reform. Wendy nodded, said something sarcastic, mocked me, and then left. After watching the footage, John quickly realized Wendy's double-dealing and rebellious actions led to the company's issues. He almost lost his temper. Why didn't you listen to your sister? How was I supposed to know she meant well? I thought she was deliberately misleading me, so I did the opposite of what she suggested. Wendy's eyes boiled with anger, not clear whether from regret or resentment. But with her it was the truth. Of course, I wasn't that kind-hearted. I knew she wouldn't listen to me, so I deliberately misled her. But I wouldn't say that. I just sighed, sorrowfully. I know I'm not blood related to this family. So when my parents asked me to give up the CEO position, I didn't hesitate and stepped down. When they asked me to teach my sister, I complied. I really don't understand why she has so much animosity towards me. John felt a surge of anger, kicked Wendy, knocking her to the ground. She couldn't help but look to Linda for help. But instead of pulling her up, Linda slapped her. Apologize to your sister. You know what they say. It's better to be raised than born. You can't even compare to your sister in the slightest. Wendy was shocked. I am your biological daughter. It's you who? Before she could finish, John slapped her again. Shut up. Apologize or get out. Wendy clutched her face, and without thinking, she stormed out of the villa. John and Linda didn't stop me. Instead, they gave me a flattering smile. Linda pressed the corner of her eye. Carrie, your mom knows you've been upset for more than half a year now. But think about it. In the past 20-something years, haven't your parents been good to you? Back when you were sick, your dad and I were frantic. We stayed by your bedside night after night. We truly took you in as our own daughter. It's all Wendy's fault. She's always making up stories. We misunderstood you. I felt like it was laughable, but on the outside I acted moved. Ignoring Cindy's objection, I stood up to hug Linda. But as soon as I got up, I fainted. Cindy held me up, shouting at John, "How do you expect her to work at your company like this? She can't even speak properly. What can she do? If you really care, you'd leave now." John and Linda wanted to argue, but ended up just sighing and leaving. Watching them walk away, I couldn't help but sigh. Even though I prided myself on being independent, Linda wasn't wrong. Before Wendy came back, things were stable between us. I came to the Chen family when I was about 2. They treated me like their own daughter, spoiled me, and raised me right. Linda used to feel sorry for my overworking, cooking for me and bringing soup to my office. John would show up with heartfelt advice for me to rest and not overwork myself. Cindy looked at me puzzled. "Carrie, why the act? You always planned to take back Sunrise from the start, didn't you? If you ask me, you should have taken the opportunity and agreed to return to Sunrise." I stretched and replied, "This is just the beginning, Cindy. Sunrise has a strong foundation. If they manage it well, this won't hurt them too much. If I return now, they won't appreciate it. Sooner or later, they'd likely ask me to step down again. Plus, all those dramatic words earlier, but no promises or paperwork were made. That shows things haven't hit rock bottom yet." Cindy nodded thoughtfully. I continued, "So I'm not going back to help. I want the whole company. I saved it before, it's mine. Otherwise, why do you think I stayed in this family? My usual self would have broken ties with them long ago." I lowered my eyes and said, "Since Wendy came back, I knew this would happen, so I've been planning for it. I hoped it wouldn't come to this, but here we are quicker than I thought." In the following days, Sunrise employees started leaving en masse. The first project Wendy took on after taking over also lost billions due to her negligence. If it were only employees quitting, it wouldn't affect Sunrise much. They could always find more people with money and reputation. But losing billions was different. That was the company's cash flow, their image. The industry knew Sunrise had a new head. They were already cautious. Now hearing about this loss made them think Sunrise was done for. Everyone began trying to grab a piece of Sunrise's pie. John went to the company himself, but it was deserted. He realized he was out of touch after so long. John and Linda came to my villa almost twice daily, getting more desperate each time. If it weren't for Cindy and the housekeeper, they might have really gotten down on their knees to beg. John, crying hard, said, "You're not really sick. Please go to the company. It's really falling apart, close to bankruptcy. This is clearly all in your head, maybe just boredom. Once you're back, everything will be fine. Everyone only trusts you, not me." Linda chimed in, "Right, Carrie, do you really want to see your dad and me broke on the streets?" I didn't answer, instead asked why my sister hadn't come. "Surely with her, the company will turn around. You two also need to have faith in her." Linda blushed, hesitating before admitting, "Wendy, she took gold from the house and transferred some company funds before running off." I didn't laugh, I already knew this. So I just sighed. She probably feared being dragged down with a bankrupt family. Understandable. She doesn't have as deep a bond with you or the company. Just watching out for herself, I guess. John awkwardly agreed. Yeah, she probably got spoiled by her foster parents. But I've lost hope in her. From now on, you're my only daughter. I didn't respond, just asked, but with her stealing and misusing funds, have you called the police? Linda awkwardly smiled, saying, "It's not much money. No need to call the cops. After all, she is my flesh and blood." John nodded, agreeing, "Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. She's just too guilty. That's why she did it. At the end of the day, it's because your mom and I didn't raise her right. If we treated her better, things wouldn't be like this." I didn't argue. I stopped pretending to be weak and placed 2 agreements on the table. "Mom, Dad, here are 2 agreements. The first is a contract to terminate our adoptive relationship. Once you sign, we're no longer related. I'll also have no connection to Sunrise. I'm not going to help Sunrise. I'll just start my own Sunrise. The second is a stock transfer agreement. You transfer your shares to me. That way, I'll own more than 49% and Sunrise will be entirely mine. It'll have nothing to do with you anymore. The transfer fee is $1 million in cash. John and Linda's faces turned pale. John immediately refused without thinking, no way. I'm not signing either. You must come back to the company with me. Don't even think about the shares. I didn't get angry, just stood up. Then, there's nothing more to discuss. Linda pointed at me in shock. You're pretending to be sick. I didn't respond, just continued. When I took over Sunrise, it wasn't worth much. Offering you $1 million is more than enough. If you don't want it, I'm capable of using that $1 million to create a new Sunrise. I'm just giving you a chance to enjoy your golden years. I smiled. Mom, Dad, do you prefer sleeping on the streets or having $1 million? Your choice. Linda and John exchanged looks, finally signing the second agreement, albeit grudgingly. John snorted. I knew you were ungrateful. I chuckled. Isn't it funny for you to say that? Just because Wendy's your blood, you let her bully me. You think I stole her place and should feel guilty. But don't forget, you went through a lot to adopt me back then too. It's you who forgot your promises to me. Sunrise was never your creation. It's always been mine. Without you, I'd have been adopted by another family or grown up in a foster home. But with my abilities, I'd have done all right. Without me, you'd have gone bankrupt and homeless 5 years ago. Who's the real ingrate here? John and Linda had no words. They chose to walk away. I returned to Sunrise. The first thing I did was bring back the employees who had resigned. At the employee meeting, I bowed deeply. Thank you for believing in me and supporting me. The employees started talking all at once. We believe in Carrie. We don't trust anyone else, Carrie. Don't thank us. You paid us double even after we quit. We're the lucky ones. Even though they said that, I was still moved. Just then Wendy appeared, pointing at me in shock. So it was you who secretly paid them after they left? I nodded, yes. You wonder where the money came from? It was from you. All those so-called big projects of yours were actually traps I set for you. The compensation went to revitalize Sunrise. Wendy finally understood and shouted, I'll tell Mom and Dad. I'll ruin your reputation. I nodded, sure. But first you'll need to go to prison. That embezzlement of yours hasn't been dealt with. Given the amount, you'll probably do 5 to 6 years. I'll be waiting. Once you're out, you can tell them everything. Wendy was stunned. My parents are your parents. How can you be so heartless? I shook my head, not anymore. Mr. John and Mrs. Linda have terminated our adoptive relationship. We're just strangers now. At that point, security stepped in and restrained Wendy. She fought, cursing and damning me. But to me, it was just the song of success played by a defeated person. The end.